Andrew Roberts, that's Pat Smith, Conrad Van Order, and Molly Robinson. So glad you're with us on what is a gorgeous spring Wednesday in the state of Alabama. We got day baseball here in town with the Barons in action. Our buddy Steve enjoying his birthday out there at the park. Always fun. It's also always fun, and it's never too early to not only talk college football, as we did plenty in the last hour, but your way too early bracketology is out from one Joe Lenardi, and I've got great news for one Conrad Van Order. Nate Oates and the Alabama Crimson Tide, they are slated to go dancing again.
They're going to be in the tournament?
They're going to be in the tournament as a 3 seed.
Wow, a 3 seed.
So they're going to be even better than this year.
Yep. You're going to be in Fort Worth taking on 14 seed Santa Barbara. Now, what's interesting here, you would play the winner of BYU. Imagine that.
Okay.
Seems like we get Alabama, BYU.
See that one before, yeah.
Yeah, BYU will take on New Mexico with that 6-11 matchup. Meanwhile,
Don't
Auburn
count out
fans,
New Mexico.
Auburn fans, Stephen Pearl, his additions in the transfer portal apparently have paid off, according to Joe Lenardi, a year from now, because Auburn is listed as an 8 seed. They're going to take on a John Blackwell-less Wisconsin.
Who's going to go to the Final Four next year?
But what's funny is if they win that game, they'll play the winner of Duke and Howard. They do get John Blackwell.
So you either get Auburn and Duke, which would be a lot of fun. We've seen that one. But you would also could have Wisconsin and Duke, as you mentioned, and the John Blackwell reunion game.
That is correct. Florida is your number 1 overall seed, which is why our buddy Brian Edwards is so ecstatic.
He doesn't deserve anything good.
No. And to save you the time, and it's there at ESPN from our friend Joe Lenardi, there's a lot of other SEC representation. Last 4 buys, though, this is what's funny. Last 4 buys, Wisconsin, UCLA, NC State, LSU.
Oh, Will Wade. Good for him.
So Mo Diabate is going to play all 5 positions and take them to the tournament?
Yes, because they don't have any other transfers, right?
Exactly.
Is it Mo it?
I think so. It was as of about 24 hours ago.
Yes.
The bad news, though, for Molly is that Nebraska, they're going to be in the tournament. They're a 5 seed.
Okay.
But they're going to play High Point.
Ooh.
High Point loves picking off those teams early on in the NCAA tournament.
By the way, I go to church with somebody that went to High Point. And, of course, you know what my opening. I go, I know High Point.
Yeah, you go to the steakhouse?
You got a steakhouse on campus, right? They're like, yeah, how'd you know about that?
And ice cream.
And a Mediterranean restaurant. They're like, what else do you know about High Point? I said, that's it.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But it sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Speaking of basketball, where's Arizona on there? Are they one of the top
they're
seeds?
2 seed.
2 seed. They take on Arkansas State, Pat, in the bracketology. Way too early.
So Tommy Lloyd's new contract has been laid out, and the Arizona Daily Star, well, it's the daily newspaper in Tucson, Arizona. They got some details of Tommy Lloyd's contract.
Do you subscribe to that, or is that free?
It's free.
I
I do not subscribe to that.
was going to see if they had any update on Nancy Guthrie.
I mean, between my Irish Times that I pay full price for, there's no media discount.
Well, you should. That's one of the few exports they have.
I'm waiting for the very big, like, Sunday special deep dive on Larkin Quinn.
Larkin Quinn.
Coming to Tuscaloosa.
Our favorite
I'm waiting for that one.
Going abroad.
But according to the Tucson Star, Arizona President Suresh Garmella will have exclusive authority over performance and financial matters regarding men's basketball coach Tommy Lloyd. So remember, we heard that leading up to when Arizona was eliminated in the NCAA tournament, that he was not speaking to the athletics director anymore. Like, he was done with that. Like, I'm going straight to the top. I want a hotline from my office to the president of the University of Arizona, who is Suresh Garmella. The president will have exclusive authority over performance and financial matters regarding men's basketball coach Tommy Lloyd instead of athletics director Desiree Reed-Francois.
It seems like it would still be awkward for the all-staff meeting. Does he have to attend those? I guess not. Hey, I'm here to coach basketball. I'm not coming to any of your meetings. I'm not doing any Zoom calls, Visios, outline every single personal appearance that I have to make. I'll review those carefully, but I'm not talking to that AD.
The president will evaluate Lloyd's job performance, his compensation, as well as his programs operating in the NIL budgets.
Well, Coach, unfortunately, it was a good season overall, but the last thing we saw from you, I was not particularly impressed with how y'all played against Michigan.
It sounds like Tommy Lloyd did not feel like he was getting the gratitude or the appreciation maybe from his athletic director that he should have been getting from Desiree. It's a tough look for Desiree.
In his previous contract, it specifically laid out that he basically answered to the athletics director, Tommy Lloyd.
In his previous contract?
In his previous contract. Hence the reason why he wanted that changed.
Yeah.
You want me in Chapel Hill? Continue to make me go and have these boring meetings with Francois.
Yeah, Chapel Hill, they told me all I got to do is talk to MJ.
Make sure MJ's happy.
Yeah.
And everything else is cool.
It's still very, very awkward.
Mm-hmm.
But good for Tommy Lloyd.
It does lay out that Reed Francois will still be involved somewhat. However, in a clause entitled NIL revenue sharing and budget commitments, the University of Arizona said all parties agreed that UA men's basketball would be supported so it's competitive nationally. So I guess the athletics director will I guess have to be the bean counter at some point, I guess. I mean, you got to include the AD somewhere.
Yeah. Tommy, how much are you paying for that center? 3.3. Why do you want to know? Well, that's actually over the budget. That's over what we had carved out. And then what does he do? Call the president? Hey, are you going to handle this?
This is a 5-year contract worth $37.5 million.
It's good deal.
It also includes a $2.9 million salary pool for his assistant coaches.
Good for those guys.
Yeah.
Arizona's not going away. You look at that talent and just go through the list. They'll be the same next year. What are they investing in football as opposed to basketball now?
And you know what? Credit to them because they are going all in on the sport that has made them probably a lot more money than the football program.
Yeah, besides the Desert Swarm that me and you remember in the 90s, not a whole lot to remark on as far as Arizona football in my lifetime.
No, they had a couple years where there's optimism around it. But I mean, for my
more so
majority of my
Arizona
life-
State on the football side of things. Basketball, absolutely Arizona.
Yeah, I was about to say the majority of my life, they've been one of the top programs in all of college basketball. They're good.
Very good. So we were talking to Tyler McComas a little bit earlier. Oklahoma wrapped up its spring game over the weekend. I was reading an article about the idea that we've talked about. Landrum has championed this idea for quite some time, not just this year, but the idea of playing exhibition games between schools as opposed to having now your spring game, which used to be a really big deal just a few years ago.
It's not anymore.
No. I mean, at Alabama was 100,000, for spring games. And
I'm sure the businesses in Tuscaloosa loved having that extra 100,000.
No question.
On a spring afternoon.
So here's an article, and it lays out different schools, big schools, and what their attendance was for this year's spring games. Let's start with Ohio State. Ohio State had 40,240 at their spring game this year. That is slightly above what they had last year, which was 40,136. But just a couple years ago, they had 80,000 plus for their spring game. So Ohio State has seen a decrease of at least 50% in regards to people showing up for their spring games. All right, let's talk about the Georgia Bulldogs over the weekend. They had 31,012 fans. That was the lowest attendance under Coach Kirby Smart after COVID-19. So just 31,000 showed up for the Georgia spring game. Let's talk about the Colorado Buffaloes. You remember back in 2023?
Sold it out.
47,277 people showed up. The number fell to 28,424 last year. This season, It fell another 8,000, where 20,430 showed up for Deion Sanders' team's spring game.
Honestly, that's still better than I would have guessed for them at this point.
Oklahoma returned to a normal spring game this last weekend. Tyler McComas there, 31,407 fans. Clemson had a decent turnout. It was at 25,000 fans.
That was optimism about all the changes.
Yes. Auburn had 34,276.
We don't need to explain why there.
Oklahoma State had 13,000 at their spring game.
Optimism, new coach.
Okay. So the article just goes on to say that if something is not done, you're going to see these numbers fall even more dramatically.
Well, I don't understand now that we don't have a spring portal and there's all the hand wringing. Well, it's upside down revenue. It's just a constant fight. Find revenue streams. This seems like it's pretty easy. It's productive. And is there anything to hide? You're going to get fans if you bring in another team wearing uniforms, you have referees, you format it like a real game. People are going to come because their team's playing that other team.
It might not be a physical, typical football game, but like you said, it's the idea of, let's say Notre Dame comes down to playing the Swamp in the spring game. How many times have you seen that helmet inside the Swamp?
Yeah.
I mean, people will go to that.
Well, and play teams that aren't in your conference, well, we don't want intel getting passed around. And, I mean, that might still happen a little bit, but play a team that you're not going to have to – now, you might play them in the playoff, I guess, but play somebody out of conference.
Well, you can run whatever you want to run. But
yeah, you don't have to run your entire playbook.
No.
Because they don't do that anyways.
There's not a whole lot of secrets that are going to be divulged. By the way, these coaches, a lot of the stuff that you see during practice that they're installing – sometimes the other portion of the team doesn't know it's being installed.
Yeah.
So they're certainly not going to put it out there in front of, if we get 60,000 in a stadium for a spring game.
No.
It's silly. And now with the spring portal gone, you don't have to worry about they're evaluating your third string defensive tackle who comes in late for cleanup minutes. It's fun. I think put other events around. I'm not saying every school in the country does it. It's not going to be feasible for every school.
I think they should be allowed to do it if they want to.
You should absolutely. If they embrace it, they want to turn it into a moneymaker, let them do it. And, oh, by the way, it's an extra game you can charge for that logo on the field and that patch on the jersey.
Very much so.
And maybe it's a 2-year thing. Hey, we'll have it on our campus this year. Next year we go to your campus.
Yep.
Let's try it because we've seen the trend of where the spring game's going. I mean, Ohio State goes from 80,000 to 40,000. What does that number look like? And how much of this is just kind of resentment from the fan of the constant news of it cost me more and all these players are getting paid triple what they were last season. Why am I paying more?
Very much so.
But those same fans will pay more to go and watch a spring
spring
game and their team playing someone else.
Well, you can justify it.
Yes.
I mean, like I'm never going to go to South Bend, but they're coming down here. I'd love to see them play.
Yeah.
Even though it's not really a game, but a scrimmage or practice, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, the number of T-shirts and the number of concessions that you can sell from people to go hang out at your campus and in the stadium, yeah, makes perfect sense. Speaking of big events, international soccer giant and current world champion Argentina is going to meet Iceland on Tuesday, June 9th at Jordan-Hare Stadium at 7:30 p.m. You need to be a part of this first international soccer game ever in Auburn. This is Argentina's last game before the World Cup, and tickets start at just $45. Go to road26.com to secure your tickets for this historic matchup. Incredible elite competition, world-class talent at Jordan-Hare Stadium as Argentina and Iceland, they get ready for the 2026 World Cup. Get your tickets at road26.com or aubtix.com. Argentina versus Iceland, Tuesday, June 9th, 7:30, Jordan-Hare Stadium. Should be a lot of fun down on the plains.
Did you know the college baseball transfer portal is open?
I did not know that.
I didn't either. But I guess because of the calendar, you got.
Well, that's a really weird time. Does that mean if you need a fifth starter? And you go find some dude that's tearing it up at a smaller school and go, hey, go get in the portal. We'll take you. Let's go. We got Omaha coming up. Need someone out of the bullpen.
Tommy, you're starting tonight. I also noticed your name is in the portal.
You noticed Conrad didn't bring up Alabama baseball today. Did you notice that?
Why? Because they got embarrassed by UAB?
Yeah, 11-2 last night.
Ew. Saving it for the weekend series. Who do they have this weekend?
Doesn't matter at this point.
Oh, man.
Man, he was so high on Alabama just a couple weeks ago.
They swept Auburn.
They
Well, I
swept
was about
Gators.
to say, Auburn was struggling. Alabama was on top of the world, and now they're going opposite directions.
Auburn beat the snot out of Sanford last night.
Auburn's playing really good baseball.
Yeah, it took 2 or 3 from Georgia. I mean, not from Georgia. No, Georgia's really good. In Florida, though.
Did you see
2 or
Georgia
3 this
Tech played
past
at
weekend.
Truist last night? Did you see some of the highlights of that? It was packed.
Yeah.
That was cool that they played there.
Yeah, it's a good baseball. Truist does a really good job. This is totally sidebar, but does a really good job because they own it of utilizing that stadium in the offseason.
Yeah.
Where they go and you can do your own Top Golf experience and hit
Mm-hmm.
golf balls. And I know they do it at other parks, but I think Truist does it really, really well. Unlike some, Conrad. I'm sure Yankee Stadium does it great. Maybe one day you'll get up there and root on your favorite team.
Well, he's been invited.
I know. And we have a team that's 2 hours and 20 minutes away that you can embrace as your National League home away from home.
No, I mean, we've had people from Social Taco invite him.
Yeah, to the games.
Yeah. Right before a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that the deal? Like the Tigers and the Yankees?
That was for Molly.
Conrad is upset. What is going on? What's wrong?
I'm good. I'm ready for a 5th straight win for the Yankees tonight in Fenway. That'll be great.
Sorry, we're not helping your team out today. We're losing 4-0. Sorry.
Right, we're going to have to win tonight.
Yeah. Sorry. It's all on y'all now.
Yeah, you get help as long as you can.
Sorry. We're heading home now.
I'm glad that my cousin, the first Brave game he has gone to see in probably 7 years, he was in D.C. on business, and so he went last night.
Hey,
I was texting him in the first inning going, what are you doing?
Hey, when we come back on 3-Man Front, I'm glad you mentioned that. I got a crazy stat about the Mets.
I thought it was how many pitchers have tried to hit Ronald Acuna.
That would be the rest of the show if we went down that list.
That's a lot of them.
We will continue on. This is 3-Man Front on Jocks.
Three-man front, we continue. We still have the Wednesday edition of Pat Ponders. Also, your text, a lot of text rolling in. If you want to interact with us, best way to do so each and every day, and we love it, is the Jocks text line, 205-834-9450. Storm weather, it's going to be here. We're going to have some rain, maybe a few spotty storms over the weekend, but we know storm season's here. We're going to get some of those intense storms, those heavy rains. That means your home needs to be protected. I got a great way to do it. They're locally owned and operated. That's right, locally, from the state here in the metro Birmingham area. I'm talking about Noto Roofing. It's N-O-T-O roofing.com. NoToRoofing.com. You're going to deal directly with the owners, Sammy and Matt. I tell you all the time, I grew up with these guys. I know what they're about, how they're going to treat you. Otherwise, I would not promote them. And they were at my house. They replaced our roof. They came for the free Jocks inspection, the roof inspection. They also offered all of our Jocks listeners. I took them up on it. They found some problem areas. I asked them, okay, can you help me to explain this to the insurance company? We got the insurance company involved, got the claims adjuster. Long story short, I got a new roof, and it looks absolutely wonderful. And I really never paid attention to my roof, but it looks great, and I appreciate our friends at Noto Roofing. They can take care of you as well. Just get the free inspection. They'll tell you you're good to go if you're good to go. They're not going to try to sell you on something you don't need. They're not going to waste your time or their time. Noto Roofing, N-O-T-O roofing.com or 205-848-2299. Call them right now. Sammy will answer the phone, and you tell them Landrum from Jocks sent you.
All right, so last night, the Braves lose in D.C. to the Nationals, but they still have a 5-game lead over Miami and an 8.5-game lead over the New York Mets because the Mets lost their 12th in a row. The Mets are now the first team in Major League Baseball history to finish with a winning record in 1 year and then lose 12 games in the April the following year. So they finish above 500 last season. Then in April, they've lost 12 games in a row. So that made me think, I need to do a little research. So I got the Pat Smith data crew on a stat. Yeah, I got a crew. They look at stats.
Okay.
Well, they're not cleaning the mode out.
Well,
They look at stats. This is really fascinating. So I went back and I found the last time a Major League Baseball franchise lost 12 games in a row. Like, how often does this happen to specific franchises? So obviously the Mets this year.
White Sox.
So the Chicago White Sox in 2024, remember how bad that team was? Okay.
That was fun to follow.
Yep. So 2024 was the last year that the Chicago White Sox lost 12 games in a row. 2022, the Los Angeles Angels. That was the last time they did it. In 2021, 4 Major League Baseball teams lost 12 games that year in a row. 4 different franchises.
This is 21?
In 22.
Or 22.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. 2021. Arizona, Baltimore, the Chicago Cubs, and the Texas Rangers.
Ah, man, I definitely would have guessed Oakland.
You mentioned, let me keep going on the list. All right, so then there was a 5-year gap from 2017 to 2021. It didn't happen. But in 2016, the Minnesota Twins, they lost 12 in a row.
Okay.
I feel like I remember that.
2015, 2 Major League Baseball teams had 12-game losing streaks. One, the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves. So that was the last time the Atlanta Braves have lost 12 games in a row.
That's Freddie Gonzalez. We don't count it.
2015. In 2013, Houston Astros.
Cheaters.
2012, Kansas City. 2011, Seattle. 2010, Pittsburgh. 1996 was the last time that the Detroit Tigers lost 12 games in a row.
Man, it seems like you guys had some opportunities in between.
I know.
Last year, it felt like we did.
So think about that.
Literally hasn't happened
End of
in
the
Molly's
season.
lifetime.
And I'll take it.
30 seasons. That is the last time. So it's been 11 years since the Atlanta Braves have lost 12 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Molly's Detroit Tigers, 30 seasons.
That's lit.
Oh, you ain't heard nothing yet, sister. The St. Louis Cardinals.
Lay some numbers on her, Pat.
The St. Louis Cardinals. The last time that the most World Series trophy winning team in the National League
Dwight Eisenhower
I was wondering how you're going to phrase
was
that.
commanding his unit.
was 110 seasons ago.
Wow.
1916 was the last time that the St. Louis Cardinals lost 12 games.
It's pretty good.
That wasn't quite Woodrow Wilson.
That's
Who's the
also lit.
president? Come on, Conrad.
I would have guessed Woodrow Wilson.
But you notice one team I have not mentioned yet.
Yeah, Pat, and it's because it's never happened.
It did happen, Conrad.
It was Woodrow Wilson.
1908.
That doesn't count.
still happened.
1908.
If it happened before the Titanic, it doesn't count.
So think about that. 118 seasons of New York Yankees baseball since the last time that they lost 12 games in a row.
You don't count it, though. It's pre-depression.
But there is one team in the history of Major League Baseball, and it's a current franchise, that has never lost 12 games in a row.
Oh, is it the Nationals?
It is not.
It's the Marlins.
The Nationals did it back in 2008.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Because I was gonna say with them
What
and the
team did you say?
Expos.
Marlins.
It is the Marlins.
Oh, good job.
The
Okay.
Marlins have never lost 12 games in
They've
a row.
only existed for like 25 years.
No, they haven't. They've been around since 1993.
It's like 25 years.
I had their closer on.
That would be
for 70
30-something
baseball
years.
It's
team.
really not.
You weren't good at math.
It's like 25 years.
Oh.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And the Mets.
The Marlins have had some sneaky good teams.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
much
some
so.
really not even sneaky. You just didn't know how good these guys were going to be until they got traded and went to other places.
How about this? So Conrad thought that, the A's, last time the A's lost 12 games in a row was 1994.
No, I feel like the A's are one of those teams. They're really good at losing 6 in a row, but they'll jump up and break it.
They love to go 1-12.
Yeah.
They'll break it up in the middle. Yeah.
Like they will have a 1
good
and 9 last 10 multiple times during the season, but you're
Good
not
point.
you're not going goose eggs during that stretch.
Good point. Good point.
But it's interesting because last time the Phillies did it was 1961, Dodgers and Giants in 1944, Cleveland in 1931, the Boston Red Sox 1930. But the Cardinals and the Yankees, and then the Marlins, because the Marlins have never lost that many games, but the Yankees and the Cardinals, to the winningest franchises in Major League Baseball, it's been 110 and 18 years respectively.
On the flip side, let me ask you this. Pat, you may know. Longest Major League Baseball winning streak. What was the number of games?
Oh, okay. I know this probably wasn't it, but how many games in a row did the A's win?
That's a really good guess.
It was like
And
22,
They're on the
wasn't it?
list. It was 20 games, and they did it in 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the Providence Grays back in 1884. 1935, the Cubs won 21 in a row. I had forgotten this. 2017, the Cleveland Indians won 22 games in a row.
Wow.
Wow.
And then, of course, the New York Giants back when they were playing baseball and not football. 26.
Polo Grounds.
It's impressive.
But that was post Pat's 12 losses in a row for the St. Louis Redbird Stockings.
They were never called that, but
I feel like they could have been. It's a proud franchise. It is. And it's still a great uniform. And you guys are overperforming right now.
we are. Until
We're
today.
eighth of the way through the season. Pat, you feeling good about it?
No.
All right.
But the division, if you look at the standings, every team is above 500. Everybody in the division is playing really well.
Dansby Swanson's not. He's hitting a $1.96.
Hate that for the Cubs.
That makes you real happy, doesn't it?
No, because he is part of my team. And
Oh,
I
you're
got-
a fantasy.
I got Mookie Betts.
Oh,
That's how he knows
that's
it.
right.
And
He's
Mookie
on your-
Betts is on the injured list. Why are all these guys getting hurt early in the season? Does this just happen to my team?
Mhm.
You got Lodolo with a little blister.
They're making them throw curveballs too early when they're kids,
I
Landrum.
think that's part of it.
Well, no, if they were doing that, their calluses would be developed and they wouldn't have to worry about it.
That's right.
Jim Cott, I think these guys are just throwing too hard. Pitch to contact, get outs. Quit throwing so hard. That's why Reynoso, that's why he got charged from Solari. He couldn't get him out. Just walk him if you can't strike him out.
There you go.
Throw your arm out, hit him, and then you got to get our black belt karate manager to come and form tackle somebody to keep the peace.
We will continue on. We'll do some Pat Ponders next on Three Man Front.
Another exciting edition of Pat Ponders momentarily. If you're looking for something different, got a great place. It's made by Alabamians, created by Alabamians, and it's crafts. The newest location right there on 280 in Mountain Brook. Whether you're the team parent, you're taking care of the catering for the team, you planning the get-together with the family, maybe an office, church event. How about the catering that they have there at Crafts? But they also have a drive-through. The new location, it's a beautiful new location right off of 280. It's in Mountain Brook near the Hollywood Boulevard exit if you're familiar with the area. But not only the world-famous fried chicken, the bites, the wings, the boneless tenders you're going to get there, but also the made-from-scratch sauces. But it's not just fried chicken. It's so much more. They got everything from bowls, and you don't think these people know their state, Pat? They got the Iron Bowl. It's fried, grilled chicken. You get your choice of that over mashed potatoes or rice. Throw in some gravy, a little fried okra, and a biscuit. Come on. How about that? It's Crafts. Check it out. They've also got frozen cocktails. You want to enjoy some patio weather. It's a beautiful news store. They got 3 locations. The newest is right there on 280. Also serving breakfast, which is made from scratch. Everything there made from scratch. Don't forget about the stick to your ribs sides that they have, like the mashed potatoes and gravy, the fried okra, squash casserole. They're making all that stuff in-house. This is not a national chain. This was created here in the state of Alabama, and they know what we like. It's Crafts, craftsbhm.com. Check them out today. Always tell them Landrum and the folks from 3 Man Front sent you. Pat's got questions. Hopefully we got answers. This is Pat Ponders.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
Question number 1 today. Purist golf fans and executives are expressing concerns over the Masters and its evolving culture. Specifically, as they're calling it, the Coachellization of the event. They say there's too many influencers, over-the-top merchandise, and the player behavior. Remember Sergio, what he did.
Yeah.
When he went crazy. So the question is, do you think the Masters is heading in the right direction, or should they scale back on some of their liberal changes?
No, I think they're fine. So what were the biggest complaints?
Too many influencers, especially during the par 3. They hated that with Kevin Hart and Kelsey and all those guys. Over-the-top merchandise, they think the whole gnome thing is taken away from the excitement of what needs to be focused on the golf, and obviously the player behavior.
All of those people were the reasons why people thought that golf was boring for so long. I appreciate Augusta National, and they're proud of their tradition. They're more proud or as proud as anybody else, any other establishment, but them actually seeing you're bringing more folks in. There's a way to do it without destroying that legacy, that history. If I trust anybody to keep the Masters and what it is and the integrity of it the same, it's those folks. So if it's a gnome, which is a fun conversation, if it's Kevin Hart, I actually enjoyed it. I don't think the par 3 is that entertaining. Kevin Hart toting a bag, that's entertaining.
So I agree with the gnome stuff. I don't think that stuff's a problem. You embrace those. Yeah, you embrace those kinds of things. They bring you attention. I will say, and this is from a lot of what my wife showed me, because she follows a lot of influencers on TikTok, and a lot of those people that were there at the Masters again, if you have the money to go and you want to be a part of the event, I think that's fine. But I'm going to sound like a grumpy old man right now. But you had people there that very clearly were treating it not like the Masters.
Okay.
And I do not approve of that whatsoever.
No, well, see, I don't see that.
If you are invited to, and if you're invited to that event, you need to respect the traditions of it and dress accordingly. And they were not doing that.
I completely agree, because I also am fairly active on social media. Now, I don't really follow any influencers, but they still will pop up on my For You page. And I had that exact same reaction. The par 3 stuff with Kevin Hart and, the gnome, the gear, whatever.
It's fun.
That's fun. Yeah. And that's always been a thing. Growing up, every year when my grandfather would go, he would always get a stash of stuff for the family. That's just always how it's been. But to what Paige was telling Conrad, some of the things that these influencers and content creators were wearing, my mother would not let me out of the house. And growing up, and I'm sure we can all agree, the Masters was something that you look respectful. Like, you don't go
Okay.
in looking like
It's not Tuscaloosa on game day.
it
in
is
the
not.
All right,
No.
this is all unbeknownst to me because I'm not following those influencers. I'm
During
certainly not
break,
watching
Landrum,
them
I'll find
Yeah.
some
do
examples and
reports
show
from
you.
the Masters.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
I
so
know
I
what
see
you're
it.
following on TikTok.
So I see it. Yeah, it's all the stuff you sent me. But see, I don't see that stuff, so I
No,
didn't think it was a problem.
And
I wouldn't have known about it either if Paige hadn't been like, "What are all these people at?" And I'm like, "Are these people at the Masters?" And she's like, "Yeah." And
well, and not to mention, a large part of the Masters is you can't bring your phone in. A lot of these people, because I'm a content creator, they're bringing their phones in.
I don't have a
And that's
problem with
just-
any of them not getting invited back.
yeah, no,
But the gnome stuff, come on.
the gnome's fun.
That's fine.
What if
Well,
next year you dress Kevin Hart up as a gnome?
That's an idea.
all the articles are the totality of everything I just discussed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just the fabric of what the Masters was and the respect of the Masters.
Yeah.
Whether it's you're okay with one part, but all the parts together is what is causing the issue with a lot of golf purists and golf executives.
Well, there's some, not to air it, but they still have their standards because we know of at least a couple that wanted to go and kind of camp out there and be a part
Yeah.
of that coverage all week. And the Masters said, absolutely not.
Yep.
So that still happens. But now that there's this, I would not be surprised at all if there's less influencers. And
Yeah.
somebody's granddaughter got in their ear. It's like, hey, granddad, all these influencers, we need to make them a part of this.
Yeah, we need less of that in the world in general.
Yeah.
Next question. I need you to name one current SEC football coach that will be fired in the next 3 years and one most likely to be a head coach in the NFL in the next 3 years.
I think it's just a matter of time. Shane Beamer at South Carolina.
Yeah, he'd be a great NFL coach.
Oh, you're saying he's going to be fired
Yes.
in the next 3 years.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm.
Okay,
Not an
sorry.
NFL coach.
No.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
So who's most likely, in your opinion, to be the next NFL head coach in the next 3 years?
I'll go Sark.
Okay. Beamer out, Sark in the NFL.
Yeah, I'll go Levy out at Mississippi State.
Well, you really went out on a limb, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, me and Landry both went out on a limb on ours.
I thought you were going to say DeBoer.
He'll leave on his own. You said fired.
Yeah, he's going to USC.
On his own volition.
That's true.
He'll go to USC after they missed the playoff this year, and JD said that if that happens, Lincoln's gone. So there's a parachute for him. It's hard not to say Sark. Like Kirby's not. I don't think Kirby, if he wanted to, that would have already happened. I have to imagine. I don't really know. I don't know if there's any other coaches because Lane's already been down that road.
Yeah.
I can't think of another SEC coach right now that I think is going
Or,
to be in the NFL.
What about this? And he's new money, and we really don't know a whole lot about him. But what if Will Stein does unbelievable things in 4 years? I could see a guy like Will Stein being attractive to an NFL franchise.
Like Liam Cohen? Who would have seen that coming a couple years
Liam
ago?
Cohen. That's a good point.
It's a
I
good
think
one.
Sark is the best answer for the NFL one. And then for fired in the next 3 years, I hate saying it because I really like him, but Shane Beamer.
Okay. All right. Final question comes courtesy of BB, who was in our studio in hour number 1, along with Mary. She writes, a UK traveler came prepared to stay occupied on his 8-hour flight by bringing on board a 1,500-piece Lego set. He was filmed by a fellow passenger as he struggled to keep the small tray or all the small pieces
Yeah,
on the table.
You don't
Yeah.
say.
Where was his girlfriend, Pat?
He repeatedly had to be. It's funny. She's not mentioned in the story.
It's weird.
Or maybe it's the mannequin in his basement. I don't know.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Table for one.
Is this Ty Simpson?
He repeatedly had to bend down to retrieve the pieces that dropped, and 6 hours in, he wasn't even close to finishing it.
He's probably further away than he was when he opened.
I'm sorry, sir. Tray table's up.
No.
So, what would you do to occupy your time on a very long flight that would be considerate of your fellow travelers?
Anything else?
I think it's 6 letters and it's Ambien.
Yes.
I did it on a 13 and a half from San Francisco to Taiwan. And some weird dreams, but I was glad I was asleep for most of it. Hey, you know what they have? And I was telling you about this. It was one airline. I won't name it because I might get it wrong. It was an airline I was on, but I'm fascinated with flight simulators and just aircraft in general.
Mhm.
And they have a flight simulator as a part of their entertainment package that you can go to, and on your phone, you're controlling.
Oh.
You've got,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you've got the tower talking to you. You got different airports, real airports that you can land the plane. That kept me busy for like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's so many things that you can. But yeah, I'm like you. Take an Ambien. I'll get 2 mini shooters once we get to altitude and listen to music, and I'm good. Like, I'll be good for 6 hours. Read a book. You can if you have Netflix on your phone, you can download it on your phone where you don't need Wi-Fi, and you can watch movies on your phone off Netflix on a plane.
And plus, most of these really long flights offer free movies on the flights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I either will watch a movie.
Well, you're going on the bougie airline.
Well, no, but some of these international flights, they have like the screen, and you can.
Oh, yes, you're on the bougie.
Or like Southwest, they have the thing where if you connect on the Wi-Fi, you can watch all these movies.
Yeah,
That's
I know
what
what you're
do.
talking about.
I'm on the one that you're making sure that all the rivets are in place.
Oh.
Yeah,
But I'll
don't-
either
don't
watch
like
a movie
that.
or I'll bring a book. Like
Yeah.
when we flew to Athens, I brought like a 600-page book with me,
Yeah.
and I read a good chunk of that.
600 pages?
hmm
Big brain. That's a lot.
That's a cliff note right there. Or a movie.
That's like, that might be combined all the books I've ever read.
When's
a
the last
really
time
good
you read a
book.
book?
Well, Bible. Other book?
When's the last time you read a work?
I felt
of
like that was a
fiction?
Pat Ponders question.
Yes. When's the last time you read a fiction book?
Fiction? Ooh.
For me, it had to be college
Yeah.
because anything I read now, it's like
Okay, you might read like an
nonfiction. It's like a
autobiography.
historical.
It's
Or
historical.
autobiography. Something
Okay,
like
but
that.
The
you're-
book I
okay,
had was
so-
Something on the
historical.
Navy SEAls, like that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's got to be historical.
Okay, but you have read a historical book.
Yeah.
Outside of the Bible.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right, that's today's Pat Ponders. We'll wrap things up on this Wednesday. This is 3-Man Front on Jocks.
Three-man front as we continue. Braves back in action, trying to get back on the winning side of things after falling to the Washington Nationals last night, 5:45. And you can catch the Braves all season long on Braves Vision, your new TV home of the Braves, owned and operated directly by the Braves here in Birmingham. DirecTV, Xfinity, Uverse, Spectrum, and Fubo. But if you cut the cable like we have at our house, it's really simple. Go to Braves.tv, get that subscription. It's less than 70 cents a game. It's $19.99 a month. It's great entertainment. Braves are playing winning baseball, and there's no local blackouts. So you can be like me and my wife. We had our internet was out at our home. We had a service outage in our area, and we were still able to watch the Braves because we had the convenience on the tablet, on it. No local blackouts. You can find it anyway you want to watch at braves.com/watch. We appreciate our friends at Braves Vision.
So last year, the Big Ten championship game was on NBC. And when they redid all the contracts a couple years ago, you had Fox, who obviously was the number one in regards to the number of games that they got in the top games of the week. NBC got a share of it, and so did CBS. Well, Fox has something in their contract in which they could buy back the Big Ten championship game from NBC. Last year, the game had huge numbers. Almost 19 million people watched the game on NBC. Well, today, Fox has bought back the Big Ten championship game for around $50 million.
Ooh. So you're telling me that championship game is not going away?
I don't think so. Not anytime soon.
Well, Petiti does it. I guess we'll all follow suit now.
$50 million.
Is he calling the shots in college football?